Right. Well, actually, that's kind of the way this all happened with my fiance. She's agnostic, and I grew up Catholic and this and that and everything. And I just was like, okay, well, when we have a baby, we're going to baptize her. Just because that's what you do. That's what all Catholics do. Whether you believe it or not, that's just what you do.
Okay.
And she was like, hell no. I mean, there's no way in the world I'm going to do that. And I was like, well, can we look at maybe a Universalist church or something else?
Do they do that at Universalist churches?
I don't know. I just was going along the lines of that's just what you do. Without having any kind of justification for it. And so she challenged me. She was like, okay, I want you to, if this is something you really want to do, then you have to give me a good reason why you want to do it. And so I took her challenge at heart, and I started, I guess doing the best I could to look into the different issues. And I don't know. I can see how I was wrong about a lot of different things, and a lot of my ideas or concepts about epistemology and metaphysics, they're rapidly changing. And so I don't know, so I wanted to get kind of your guys' idea of what you thought about this argument, because to me, this argument dealing with substitutionary atonement, if it's a valid argument, it strikes at the very heart of Christian theology, because it deals with whether people are saved or not, I guess.
Well, I mean, it sounds interesting to me, but I think the only way you can find out if it works or not is to talk to some people who will argue about it.
Sure.
And if they win, then you could improve it.
Yeah, that's another thing. Empathy, I think, is a key issue for me too, because I tend to think that everybody is wrong and that I'm right. So.
Well, resist the temptation. You're wrong too.
Yeah, I know. I've definitely that's been pointed out to me quite a bit in the past year. So, but well, hey, I'll let you guys go.
Okay.
I appreciate you taking my call.
Thank you for calling, Christopher.
Yeah. All right, take care, guys.
Bye.
Yeah, the baptism question came up, right after our son was born.
Oh.
Yeah, with grandparents wanting him baptized, and we were thinking, no. And finally, what we settled on was, there's this joke that if you're not a native-born Texan, if you want to be considered a Texan, you need to be baptized in the Brazos River.
Oh, I was going to guess barbecue sauce.
Well, no, what we did was we pushed back and we said, no, there's no need to baptize him. He's a native-born Texan. Therefore, there's no need to dip him in the Brazos River. He's good. So,
okay.
I think they were kind of dumbfounded by that response, so haven't heard much about it. But.
All right. We have Jeffrick in Ontario, Canada. Hi.
Good afternoon or good evening, depending what time zone you're in.
It's early evening, I would say.
Yes.
Okay. Ralph Glasser, I got an answer for you for the question you gave me way back on November 2nd. And the answer is yes.
Okay.
Oh, good. That clears that up.
I gave you a dumbass joke about Michelangelo doing the Sistine Chapel and completing it on October 30th. And on October 31st, Julius II opened up the chapel for public viewing. He looked up at the ceiling, looked at Michelangelo, and said, I said off-white. Okay, but anyways, you asked me if that was true, and actually the answer was yes, it was true. It was open to the public viewing on October 31st, way back in 1519, and Julius II needed it for a church or chapel on November 1st, All Saints' Day, November 1st, the next day. Anyways, the reason I asked in today was we were talking about, with the guys off stage there, about masturbation and what the church really thinks about it, or any religion for that matter. And, well, I had a religious mother. My father was not so religious, but my mother was. I never got caught at it, but I was sitting on the living room couch one day with my 16-year-old girlfriend. I was 16 myself. My hand was down her pants, and my mother walks in the room. Takes one look at me, runs across the room, whacks her up the side of the head, and says, Jim, I told you not to play with your food in the living room.
Okay, is that true?
Yeah, that is true.
Uh-huh.
My mother had a weird sense of humor.
Got it.
Okay.
So was that a question?
But anyways, do you find anything wrong with masturbation or telling children it's okay to do it where we can't see you?
Where we can't see you, I don't have a problem with.
Yeah.
Anything else, and you're on shaky legal ground.
Yeah.
I have a lawyer. Don't worry.
Okay.
I'm up in Canada.
But I mean, this actually dovetails with what I was saying earlier, because some religions are against masturbation and some aren't, and it seems kind of arbitrary whether they are or not. In particular, I've read some really interesting Mormon material on the enormous lengths that you have to go to in order to avoid being tempted. And
that'd be interesting.
You have to take frequent cold showers and be with someone at all times of the same gender, I think, to keep you in line. And it's interesting because there's no good reason for it, I don't think.
No.
Is that why the Mormons have special underwear?
I don't know that that's related.
Yeah. What?
Doesn't it come down to the fact that religions are trying to control your sex life, which controls your entire life?
Well, there's a significant amount of, I guess, prohibitions in whatever lots of religions, particularly the Abrahamic religions, that attempt to control or regulate sexual expression. So, yeah, I think that's basically anything that's not any non-procreative sex, I think, is frowned upon.
Right, which is why Catholics have so many kids.
Yeah, and Mormons.
Right.
I'm more of a Catholic background there, where they try to control you, made you feel guilty about everything that you thought about.
Mm-hmm.
Like the cute girl in the short skirt beside you in class. And we're not supposed to think about that? We go out to the playground on a windy day, and boy, do I think about that.
Well, I mean, my take on guilt is there are plenty of things you should feel guilty about that mostly involve things that will hurt other people, and it's easy to misdirect an appropriate sense of guilt into something that makes no sense to feel guilty about.
Should I feel guilty about looking at schoolgirls in kilts when the wind's blowing?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. How
when
old
I was
are
16,
you?
no. I think now that I'm a full-grown man, yes, I should. And
yeah, that's probably not
get arrested
appropriate.
for it.
It depends.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
thanks for
pass
calling.
on. Yeah. Talk to you later.
Right.
All right, see ya.
Bye.
So next we're going to Julie in Santa Clara, California. Hello?
All right.
Julie?
Hi there.
Hi.
Okay, I hate to say this, but I'm not a theist as well, so I apologize that you guys don't have anyone to argue with.
Don't worry.
But I was kind of curious what your guys' thoughts were. I grew up in an area where, like, churches ruled the area. They influenced government and laws, and it was pretty bad. And also, I live in California, so you have the whole Prop 8 issue. With the religion, specifically Mormon, putting false advertisement, false information out, and that was really prevalent here. But what are your opinions of how bad, how do you say it, like how the Christians are kind of infiltrated into our government and influence our laws and influence basically how we live our lives because they're in control of lawmaking? And also, what can we do to kind of counteract that?
I think that there is a lot of misconception about what is and isn't appropriate in in government intervention. For instance, I mean, I don't have a particular problem with a president making a statement about his personal religious faith, although it seems kind of weird or kind of out of nowhere when it happens. But I don't have any problem with it. The concern that I have is when a law is made only for religious purposes. I mean, when some kind of law is passed and there's no good justification for it except for our religion says it should be this way.